Do you remember the Pacific Palisades fire that happened in January of 2025? I'm asking because the mainstream media, they're not really talking about it these days, and they're sure as hell not talking about the fire that happened in Lahaina in Hawaii. And yeah, it's just crickets. I'm not really hearing much on it, so I thought I'd get into that a little bit just to see what kind of updates there are and if there's any progress, anything been rebuilt or any roadways cleared out? Are the neighborhoods cleaned up? Are they starting to sell properties for pennies on the dollar? Honestly, I don't know. I really haven't read into it. I did find some video clips and I found a couple articles. I just read the headline. I didn't actually get into it. So I just figured I'd just make a video on it. But it doesn't really seem like the mainstream media is all that interested in it. I mean, you think that they'd be giving regular updates here and there, but I don't live in California. I live in Florida. So maybe in Southern California, they might be getting regular updates on the local news. But if you happen to live out there and you're hearing regular updates on it, we're not hearing anything over on this side of the country, at least not where I'm sitting. I mean, it was pretty hot in the news, no pun intended, early on throughout the month of January and then into a little bit of February. But I mean, it's just kind of just dropped off the news radar as far as I know. So, I mean, it did happen 141 days ago. And yeah, I did the math, I checked. And it also ended up destroying 6,837 buildings in total. So, I mean, it's not just a few dozen buildings. I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands. I mean, that's that's practically an entire city. That many buildings. That's a shitload of buildings. Anyway, so I'm going to start here as where I usually end up starting over here on the X platform. And I'm starting here. This was back in May. So it's in the month of May. That's where I'm at right now. Currently, I'm in the month of May. It's May 28th today. But anyway, this came from Brendan Dilly. And he says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but the Pacific Palisades fire was a land grab that was meant to displace thousands of Americans living on some of the most valuable land in Southern California and replace their single-family homes with multifamily billion-dollar developments. So you could take that for what you will. I know it's kind of conspiracy theory-ish, but I know that there's been a lot of talk about that. The same with Lahaina. It was prime real estate in a gorgeous part. I mean, it was in a gorgeous state also. I mean, frankly, Southern California is a gorgeous area as well. You know, not getting into the nitty-gritty, the crazy political atmosphere that's been happening there, actually, frankly, for decades at this point. Anyway, I'll go on to the next one here. So this one comes from a Bill Mosler. There was a news blurb here on X about 3 days ago. That would have been roughly on May the 1st. And said the Pacific Palisades fire was started by an arsonist from Oregon and his wife, who was a fire and weather specialist with some government agency. And both were climate change wackos starting fires to prove climate change is responsible for a huge increase in wildfires. Is that true? If it is, drop in the comments because I didn't hear that. Maybe I'll end up finding that out. I do have a couple of news articles to get into in a little bit. Maybe there is some buzz about that. I'm sure it was probably started by somebody, maybe some activist, some climate change, whatever. I don't want to get into all that, to be honest. I just want to stick with just the fires in the news. And is there anything coming out of it these days, or at least in the last week, which there is. There's a couple of things that happen, but it's just been kind of radio silent from what I've seen, at least from where I'm sitting. And this guy, Human, David Himadi, MD, PhD. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name, dude. I'm sorry. I always butcher names. You know, I've got a strange last name too, and it gets butchered all the time. So, you know, I get some and I give out some. Anyway, what they conveniently left out after the Palisades fire. California Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor of LA Karen Bass swore they won't upzone Palisades and Malibu from single family to apartments. Conveniently, SB 79, which forces cities to permit 4 to 7 story buildings near transit stops, is now headed to the California State Senate for a vote, where it's expected to pass. See Palisades burn area and LA bus map below. Yeah, we'll have a look at it. Vast majority of burned homes in Palisades are within 0 0.5 miles of stops on line 602 or 9, and vast majority of burned homes in Malibu are within stops on line 134. If Newsom signs SB 79 into law, the state will force LA and Malibu to permit 4 to 7 story residential high rises in place of most burned out homes destroyed in the Palisades fire, with an expedited permitting path guaranteed. What would this mean for Palisades and Malibu? It would certainly accelerate the sale of burned lots by homeowners to apartment developers who would have the green light for rapid permit to build high-rise, high-density apartments where single-family homes previously stood. Yeah, because if you build, like if a developer purchases, let's say, 10 lots where 10 families lived, and then they build a 7-story building, how many families can they put in there then? Like 60, 70 families, 80, something like that. So, yeah, I mean, there is some validity to this. I mean, at least the numbers would seem to check out. The money would seem to check out if that's really what they have planned. Sounds like it so far. Anyway, as more sell to developers, those who have had hope to rebuild would give up and sell their lots at high prices because apartments can generate much higher value due to density. Why would you build a multi-million-dollar single-family home when it'll be surrounded by apartments and tons of traffic on very narrow streets? Got a good point. Especially when you can make a fortune selling that lot to a developer, allowing you to buy a nice existing home in Beverly Hills or Santa Monica or elsewhere. If Newsom truly believes Palisades and Malibu should remain zoned as is, he can simply veto SB 79 should it land on his desk. Tell Senator Scott Wiener to get lost and not further destroy the lives of people who have lost everything they own. Absolutely true. I think they shouldn't be passing anything with regard to any kind of developments in that area, in any place that's been affected. They shouldn't change the zoning. They shouldn't change anything in any way, shape, or form. Every single lot must be completely replaced. House for house. And that's it. And if you want to sell your property, if you fell in hard times, which I'm sure many have, I mean, it's not cheap to rebuild a house, even though your homeowners covers it. I mean, there's got to be so many people out there spending countless thousands of dollars having to make a living while their house isn't there. I mean, it can't be cheap. Having to rent something else or whatever it is that they're doing. I mean, it's going to take years for some of these people to get their houses rebuilt, and that's if it even happens. Have they even broken any ground on anybody's properties yet? I heard that they, for the most part, have cleared out the lots, but if the lots are cleared out, what are they waiting for? I don't understand why they're not able to immediately start building the structures back. Get it back. Build back better. Anyway, so that was that one here. Let me take a look at this here because he pointed out the map, but I'll check this out here real quick too. Santa Monica Lookout. This is from surfsantamonica.com. And this is from May the 28th, which is today. A bill that makes it faster and easier to build taller residential buildings near transit stops by overriding local zoning restrictions is on its way to a full vote of the state Senate. Senate Bill 79, which has the city council support, was approved by the Senate by a 4-2 vote Friday and must be passed by the full Senate by June 6th. And I'll skip that little part. Sponsored by State Senator Scott Wiener, the bill allows new residential buildings of up to 7 stories near rail lines and stops on major bus lines. Residential buildings have up to a half a mile of major stops, can be up to 4 stories, and will be green lighted under a streamlined permitting process. I like the state senator dude's up in San Francisco. I mean, I don't know why he's looking at writing legislation for something that impacts the Palisades directly, but I'm sure that this bill, I'm assuming it applies to the whole state and not just this one particular area, but I mean, what do I know? Let's see here. Quote, overly restrictive zoning laws prevent millions of Californians from living near public transit, making train and bus systems impractical for many, Wiener's office said in a statement Friday. Oh, okay. Let's see. SB 79 will address our housing shortage to lower costs while making public transportation feasible for millions of families to use. Dude, I don't think that most people, and this is just an assumption, most people who live in the Pacific Palisades probably don't take public transportation. Probably not. They probably have their own Audis, Mercedes, Lambos or whatever. From what I understand, it's somewhat of an exclusive neighborhood. It's kind of a high value neighborhood. I mean, if you can buy a house there, you probably could more than afford a car, and your license is probably up to par. Maybe your criminal history is looking okay enough to be able to drive a car around on a daily basis. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see how this would affect that neighborhood specifically, but I mean, I've never lived there, so I honestly couldn't tell you for sure. Oh, yeah. Let's check this out here real quick. Sunset in Drummond, traffic lights in this area. He's just showing just a aerial, like Google satellite view there. And then I think it was this that he pointed out with regard to the routes, the bus routes or the lines. I don't think that's rail lines, is it? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, he made a reference to that as well. So let me go ahead and go back. There was a guy that actually responded to that post, and it looks like I lost it, but I got it. So Thom Falcon responded to his post, and he said to Gavin Newsom, passed over 50 housing bills that will allow every single lot in the Palisades to be split down further and sold off individually as well. Here is a summary of the bills. And he links to this PDF. And Newsom signed slew of bills to spur home building across the state. Oh, okay. So it's not just the Palisades, it's just across the state. But will this have even existed if not for the Palisades fire in the first place? I mean, that's the question I would be asking. Home building could rise in California with new laws signed by Newsom to allow streamlined apartment approvals and housing built on church and college parking lots. Okay, well, that's where it starts. It starts at college parking lots, church parking lots. Okay. Not sure what that means, but Newsom signed more than 50 bills meant to boost the state's housing supply and protect tenants from evictions. Great. So once somebody moves in and they don't pay rent, it's going to take them, 10 years now to get them evicted? And once they get evicted, it'll be immediately expunged from their record. So the next place they get to go rent at, the landlord, will have no idea that they were evicted in the first place. I'm sure that's probably the direction California is heading into. Would not surprise me at all. Well, they have a right to live somewhere. No, not that the landlords really should have any rights. I mean, it's only the property they own. It's only their living that you're talking about. The bill is backed by both labor and housing advocates, sliced through opposition from cities and counties that will lose control over local approvals. It's simple math. California needs to build more housing. Well, not really. Isn't their population going down, not up? No, didn't they lose like 200,000 residents last year? Something like that. Like Texas is gaining a lot of California residents. Same with Idaho and Montana, probably still Colorado, probably still Arizona somewhat, maybe Nevada, even though Las Vegas, their housing market's been a little crazy. And that's putting it lightly. But anyway, I'm not going to go through this whole thing because I got a lot of other stuff to look at. But yeah, this looks like an interesting read. But anyway, you can check it out over there on his post. I don't know where the hell I was. But yeah, Thom Falcon posted about an hour ago. And there's only one other just random post that I came across. The Palisades fire was conspiracy from Gavin Newsom and land developers to build apartment complexes to tackle the Section 8 housing shortages. Interesting. So let's jump right over here to YouTube. I got this from NBCLA. This was posted just an hour ago. So brand new, just posted an hour ago. So let's give this a watch and let's see what they say about this. Palisades Village announces it will reopen in 2026. Largest shopping plaza to open next year. So let's give this a listen.
Today marks a milestone for the Palisades. The largest shopping complex in the community announced plans to reopen in 2026.
Certainly welcome news for the community and also the people who've been out of work since the January fires, which closed the center. NBC4's Alex Rozier joins us now from the shopping center with more on today's announcements. Alex.
Looks fine to me.
For people in this neighborhood, the Palisades Village really serves as a community gathering place, a place where people can get together, shop, grab a cup of coffee, and that's why leaders here are working so hard to bring this area back. And when it reopens, they say it'll be better than ever.
For 25 years, retailer Elise Walker had her flagship
I got all
store
jacked
in the
up.
Palisades. But in January, her business burned in the fire.
So whole thing was quite unbelievable.
Nearly 5 months later, Elise said she's kept every employee on the payroll, and today she announced her business is coming back across the street in the Palisades Village.
I just shared this news with my team 2 hours
So they
ago,
rebuilt all that.
And I thought maybe they'd be a little nervous.
In the last, what, 4 months?
My phone is going crazy with silly emojis of joy.
The retailer's return was one part of this afternoon's announcements, along with plans to renovate the public park in the village and provide
What about the
upgrades to
houses, though,
sidewalks,
dude? What about people's
lighting, and
homes?
landscaping in the
To hell with the
area.
businesses. Don't people need a place to live first before they can go out shopping?
Years for this to get reborn. I want the community to come back.
Rick Caruso, who owns the
Yeah, well, for them to come back, they got to have houses, dude. They have to have a place to freaking live.
This is just the latest good news in the neighborhood. Crews are already starting to rebuild the schools here and the Palisades Rec Center.
When you look around and talk to the residents, they are desperate for hopeful signs because there's so much devastation.
They want their houses
and
back.
heartache that they live with.
Give a shit about a
Caruso
plaza.
said
At least
they are
I
also
wouldn't.
looking to do similar work
Be like, why don't you
in
build
other
this stuff
communities
first?
impacted by January's fires.
We're actively working in Altadena and Malibu. We're actively looking at redesigning the Upper Lake area for their business district. We're talking to retailers about coming in there to help spur the economic activity.
But today they are making news in the Palisades.
They're building up shopping and more shopping and plazas and attractions and parks and whatnot. It does sound like they plan on really urbanizing this area, that they're looking to probably bolster the population of the Pacific Palisades far and beyond what it can currently hold with the residential lots that are currently in place.
Assuring people that in 2026,
What do
the
I know?
village is coming back.
And I hope that today serves as
Build
a
back
catalyst
better.
of confidence. There's no doubt this
Come on, man.
community is coming back together.
Though the village is set to reopen in the early to middle part of next year, Rick Caruso's team said today that they will be
hell, that's
having
a while
Christmas
away.
tree
Well, I mean,
and
yeah, that
menorah
is a
lighting in
2026.
the village this year. So after a tough few months, there are certainly signs of hope in the Palisades. Reporting live, I'm Alex Rozier, NBC4 News.
All right, well, there you have it. So they're rebuilding that, and I'll go ahead and get rid of that. And I've got one other over here. Let's see, CBS News in Los Angeles. Debris removal crews continue to find priceless family heirlooms in the Palisades fire burn zone. And this was just posted 3 days ago. This is out of KCAL News. Let me give this a play here.
Now at 9:30, debris removal is moving along in the wildfire burn zones with nearly 2,000 properties cleared.
But it's what crews found underneath the rubble that's getting attention. One local debris removal company says it has found precious keepsakes that families thought were gone forever.
Yeah, they tell us some of those valuables are over 200 years old.
So they
Out
are
of
still
the
clearing
ashes,
lots out.
Signs of hope.
So they haven't cleared it all out yet.
100-year-old coin collection buried in the rubble of this Palisades home since a deadly January
Damn,
fire.
dude, coin collection.
About 1,000 coins in all, still intact, just a little burnt.
It's unbelievable, right?
That was pretty noble of them to
I've been walking
not
these
pocket
walks
all of it.
since the fires were going on, basically, and it's been months. And finding these things is always the best part about it. It kind of reminds you why you're doing this.
Local debris removal companies have been working for months to get homes ready to rebuild.
Thank you for being here.
As of last week, LA Mayor Karen Bass says
Oh
nearly
my God, dude, I
2,000
cannot
properties
believe
have
she's
been
still the
cleared
mayor of
debris
LA.
by the
That is
Army Corps of
unfucking real.
Engineers.
They're moving at lightning speed.
When is she supposed to
expediting the
resign?
timeline to get families home.
We're very, very busy.
Apparently not.
Right now, I would say per day, we are currently working on 8 to 10 lots at a time. So that's our capacity.
Damn, dude had a
We can
basketball
go up
court
to
in his
12 to
backyard.
14.
And
Or
each
front
day,
yard.
Armin Bagramian and his company
Quote,
find
unquote, yard.
something new, like this 200-year-old menorah buried under tons of debris. The owner thought it was lost forever. Now the family
survived.
heirloom has been restored to its original splendor.
Hey, would you look at that?
We pulled it out, and we found his menorah, and I was thrilled. I didn't know how old the menorah was. He told me that's a 200-year-old menorah. That was his grandfather's. It looks beautiful. And
200,
so
probably his
glad I was able to
great-great-grandfather's.
retrieve his menorah.
But the work is far from over. The Army Corps of Engineers projects it won't be until January of next year that the cleanup is done.
Good grief, man.
Really good to see everything that they've been able to recover so far. I'm sure they'll recover a lot more.
Yep. Well, yeah, so I guess it's still a slow recovery. It's still at a snail's pace. They're still, I mean, I wouldn't say they're taking their time. I mean, after all, it is, how many are there? What was it? 6,837 buildings in total. I mean, yeah, it's not going to take a weekend to clean up. It's, it's still in progress. I mean, at least they're doing it. At least they're cleaning it up. I mean, at least they're not getting jam-packed with all this red tape and all this nonsense to prevent them from doing so. Anyway, this is with KTLA 5. I'm going to try to adjust this quality a little bit. I don't know why my computer has been jacking up. I improved the RAM. I actually added 16 gigs of RAM to my computer. It's an old computer, to be honest with you. I bought it refurbished like back in 2020, back when the COVID nightmare started. But anyway, Pacific Coast Highway reopens early following Palisades fire closure. So they finally opened up the Pacific Coast Highway, so that's a good thing.
PCH
so we'll hear a little bit about
officially that. Open to the public. The road had been shut down and restricted to the general public because of the Palisades fire. Caltrans warning drivers, though, to expect delays. KTLA's Eric Spillman live in Pacific
delays,
Palisades
but it's open,
with
right?
the details. Eric,
Holy
good morning.
shit! Look at that.
Good morning. It's been a long time now, but Pacific
foggy.
Coast Highway has finally reopened to everyone just in
BMW,
time for the long holiday
Audi,
weekend. It was supposed to officially reopen at 8 o'clock this morning, but about an hour ago, they took down the checkpoint
Tesla.
here. The LAPD cleared out here at PCH in Chautauqua. The National Guard left
truck.
around 2 this morning.
Ford.
Everyone is being allowed to use PCH and to drive all the way up to Malibu, from Santa Monica to Malibu, if that's what they want to do. They don't need a pass anymore. It was restricted to just contractors and residents and emergency first responders.
God, that would suck
now
if you had to
everyone
commute.
can use it. Let's
They had to
talk
get
to
around
Larry Vane, who is with a community group called Pally Strong. You're a Pacific Palisades
dude, they got
resident.
$5
What do you
gas.
think of this?
Well, me, myself, and on behalf of the Palisades residents, we're fully in support of Governor Newsom's decision to open a PCH. It's about time. We've been in touch with the mayor of Malibu, and
Well, if it's
support that they
fixed,
need to
why
get the
wouldn't they
business up
open it?
there. It's summertime coming. We're also super happy that we reached an agreement that there will be 16 checkpoints that will remain in place to secure the Palisades community.
So what we're
okay. I was
saying
gonna
is
say,
that
what, on the
although
highway?
you could use PCH to drive from Santa Monica to Malibu, you can't drive into Pacific Palisades neighborhoods
Why do they
that
have those
burned during
lanes
the fire.
closed
They're going to
anyway?
have LAPD checkpoints there to keep people out of those neighborhoods where they don't belong.
That's correct. Our community will remain secure through 16 different checkpoints at the tributaries that would lead, and you won't
Giving
see
me
them from
GTA
PCH,
5
but they're
vibes.
there, and there's a huge force of both police and
I've
private
driven so
security
many
that's gonna be
cars off this
surrounding
freaking
the
highway.
entire Palisades area from one end to the other. Thanks to the city officials that have stepped on board, Tracy Park's office, the mayor's office, coming together, the unity of our organization, helping out as well to make sure that the community remains safe. It's been in a trauma.
Now, if you are driving PCH, there are some rules. It's going to be slow. There's going to be traffic, 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, and you're not going to be allowed to get out and sort of tour burn zones and take pictures and be a looky-loo. You could be cited.
No, you won't. This is not going to happen.
No,
People will
you
not
won't.
be able to pull over and go up into the hills, and there's a huge show of force. And there's going to be a lot of traffic. There will be a lot of traffic, make no mistake. So if you have to come out here to go visit those businesses, do it. But if you just want to drive around, look around, or not just go to the beach
there's
and
always
relax
traffic
and
on the
enjoy our
highway.
beautiful
It
beaches,
is a highway.
it's going to be a problem. So if you're not a resident, you really shouldn't be here.
But you can be here if you need to get to
I was gonna
Malibu
say,
and
you
support
can,
the
though.
businesses there.
It's still a free country. You're
Come
supposed
on
to
in,
be.
Come see some of the restaurants. Come to the
25
beaches.
miles an
Enjoy
hour.
California.
Like once the construction
Talking
crews
to
are out
us,
of the way,
Larry
like the
Vane. We
highway
really
looked like it was
appreciate
done.
And
I mean,
yeah, it's perfect. PCH is reopened. We just need a little bit of sunshine this morning. We'll send it back to you.
There you have it. Pacific Coast Highway has reopened, even though they had lanes closed, other than a couple of trucks being parked off to the side. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm sure they've got somewhat of a valid reason for it. Now, this video, it's a bit longer. I'm not going to go all the way through this video. I might just skip to a couple different parts of it, but this is the Palisades lockdown. LAPD seals off access as long road to recovery continues. This was also posted just 3 days ago, Saturday, May 24th of 2025. So technically 4 days ago, really. But this is from Santa Monica Close Up. So we'll get a kind of get a feel of what it's looking like in the area. Santa Monica Close Up traveled through nearly every active checkpoint surrounding Pacific Palisades to document the current state of restricted access in the aftermath of the devastating Palisades fire. So this should be an interesting point of view. So we'll see how this is looking. Let's see if I can try to adjust this. Try to make it a little bit more tolerable. All right, so dude's riding his bike. So they've got cops just sitting there for literally months. Talk about an easy paycheck, man. For the most part, I'm sure they deal with some bullshit sometimes. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, dude's got he's got a friggin' seat there. That dude is on easy street as far as his job is concerned, it seems. All right, so dude's just having to walk around. Gorgeous day. Like another checkpoint, apparently. He's gonna go up here and read the sign, maybe. No? Okay. Alright, let's skip a little more. See what we got here. He's riding his bike.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, only 2 stages over Circle Right. You take a U-turn and go back to 2 stages. Thank you.
Nope. You're not a resident? Nope. Turn around. Dude, the amount of money that's being spent on all these cops. Damn, look at that Cybertruck. It was nice. I'm curious to know how many cops in total. What did they say there was? 16 checkpoints? Or did he say that in the... No, I think I read that somewhere else, that there's something like 16 checkpoints. Nope, can't go, dude. Take your fancy ass Bentley. Turn around.
Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you.
Move along. Move along. All right, let's go a little bit a little deeper into the video here. Caution, road closed. Permits and residents only. Skip around a little more. So yeah, this was just over the weekend. So got electrical power crews out there. God, man, what a pain in the ass. The lights are still, they still have the lights blinking. Which I guess it makes sense if it's a checkpoint. Kind of boring, but at least it just shows a couple of just different spots and like what the cops are doing and what they're dealing with. I don't know, man. The more I see this, the more I bet these like cops probably really don't want to be out here doing this. What do you mean? I just like want to go, but I just wanna. Okay, fine, I'll do that. What do you mean the road's closed? Like, what's going on? She flashed a permit. It's like this big ass red sheet of paper. Permit. That probably wasn't even a permit. She probably just printed something off the internet. Like, yeah, it's red. It's got black lettering on it. Yep, go ahead. Off you go.
Left turn.
Apparently, she's a no-go. Oh yeah, they had their permit in the, on the dashboard.
Left. No. Either U-turn or you can make a left, and I'll take a PCA. What are you gonna do? Left. Now turn.
Left, right, left. Yeah, there's another Cybertruck. I thought everybody hated Tesla in LA these days, or in SoCal. I think they look cool. I would never drive one because I don't do electric vehicles. I have no interest at all. I like shifting my cars manually. Gotta have a manual. I'm assuming this dude's on a bicycle, or maybe he's on like electric scooter or something. So yeah, just checking out just different checkpoints. Oh shit, look at that. I wonder if they're gonna try to salvage that building. And it looked like it was all made out of stone. Flag display. Patriotic, that's nice to see. Damn, dude, you spent a lot of time on them flags. Yeah, they got the crews rolling in. God bless America. Yeah, there you can see like a lot of it looks like it's just all dead up there. All right, I'll cut it there. So there's that, just some different views of checkpoints and whatnot. I got another one here. Palisades Aerial Media, Pacific Palisades Fire. ABC Streets Update V36. This was posted 9 hours ago from Gary Baum. He's got a bunch of different aerial views. I'm assuming it's a drone, but I'll give this a watch and we'll see what... Yeah, aerial media, obviously it's going to be a drone, of course. As this quality is jank. Jank is all hell. I think it's probably because I preloaded all these videos. That's probably what happened. Maybe I should do that next time. Or maybe I should at least start playing it. I don't know. Music's a little happy considering the situation. I don't know if I would have gone with that. Damn, look at that. They're all empty. See, yeah, so they cleared all that out. See if I can bump this up a little bit. See, freaking 60, man. Let's see what happens there. Probably not gonna work. Yeah, that's probably a little too heavy for my liking. But yeah, they've actually cleaned out a lot of the lots, man. At least in this area. That's just wild, man. There used to just be houses and houses and houses there. It almost looks like a field. It just looked like fields where houses used to be. Freaking crazy, man. And that's probably basically what this whole video is. It's probably just an aerial flyover. Yep, completely stripped clean. I mean, they still have like slabs and driveways and stuff like that. Let's take a look here. It looks like it gets a little lower to the ground. Interesting choice of music. Yeah, so he starts to get up here, some of these other buildings. Let's see what else he gets into here. Yeah, that was the building he was just looking at. Moving out. So there's still some rubble. Those are all still a mess there too, and up around there. I mean, yeah, they're definitely tackling the individual lots. I wonder if they're not going to let anybody start building until they fully cleared everything out, because they probably don't want, like, this type of construction crew and that type of construction crew. I wonder if there might actually be some logistical issues with just too many people in the area as far as construction and trucks and supplies and machinery. I could kind of see that, but this whole area over here, they could start building out here. I mean, looks like that's all cleaned up. It's like they're all good to go. I mean, start building as they're clearing up the old, building up the new. Damn, man, look at that. It's crazy. So, Yeah, so he zooms way out. Look at that. Damn. Yeah, so you didn't touch all this down here. Looks like all this over there on the left was affected. But yeah, there you have it from Gary Baum. I'm sure he's got quite a few videos like that if you're looking for some aerial footage of the area and how it's progressing, because this was posted today. So I'm assuming he probably filmed that either today or maybe yesterday. So I've got this one. It's an 18-minute video. Probably not going to do the whole thing. This is from Real Estate Mindset. This was actually 2 weeks ago. This wasn't as recent as the other videos, but I thought I'd give this just a bit of a watch. I don't plan on watching the whole thing, but he's got some good insight, not just into this situation, but into the real estate market overall. Like, he talks about regions all around the country. So, and he gives some good insight as to what the housing market's looking like regionally and nationally, and with the interest rates and the Fed and all that stuff. So let's give this a go and see what he's saying about this.
My God, there's Humvees everywhere. I had to cross, by the way, I had to cross 2 checkpoints. They asked me if I had my pass, right? So I said, yeah, of course I got my pass. I got my press
Yeah,
pass.
man, they got checkpoints everywhere. We already saw it. Now, if he lives in this area, I didn't know that, but I don't think he does. The 2025 Palisades wildfire.
Welcome to the Pacific Palisades. So today Travis and I are going to show you the damage here in a very wealthy area of Los Angeles, very different from the Altadena area, which was
Yeah,
more
but they need
middle
public
class.
transit though.
What we're seeing
They got to have their
around here,
public
these
transit.
are amazing homes, beautiful homes.
Gavin Newsom, man, they're working overtime on that.
Some lots have already been cleared. There's
All right, so
active
they've got the
construction
beach.
going on. And the other very interesting
K-shaped
thing that
economy.
we did not see in Helene, and we
coming.
did not really see this evidence as much in Altadena, is the National Guard is here.
Things like that.
The National
But right
Guard's
now, the
there.
water in the
Okay, I didn't
Pacific
know that.
Looks like the water in the Gulf of Mexico. I'm sorry.
Okay, not really interested in
doesn't
that.
care how
Let me get into this. This is hyper
That everybody's a lot.
financialization. We'll see what they're saying about this.
We think that everybody's a lot richer than they are. I see it with people that live in these bubbles. They absolutely believe that what can happen.
Well, hell, that
from
looks
here
brand new
is
behind
some
them.
all-cash investor is going to come in, buy all this up, and then sell it to the top 20%. The problem is, guys, the top 20% is starting to struggle as well. That is why retail sales were down. Okay, they make up so much consumption, almost.
Oh, I'm sure,
50%
dude.
in
California
our
ain't
country.
cheap.
So they have stopped spending. What does that tell you? Okay, so people aren't doing as well as you think. And so I feel for the people that were trying to sell here, because it is going to take a very long time.
Well, I'm sure what
for
they're
this
showing
area
here
come
has
back.
nothing to
If,
do with the
in fact,
Palisades.
they are allowed
I really
to
doubt
build
people
here.
have found
There's
themselves down in this
definitely
area.
been rumors about this specific
Not if it's
these
so wealthy.
locations on the Pacific Coast Highway. And of course, the regulations are so much stricter. We were told yesterday, for instance, you can't even have a fireplace anymore. So this is going to be a very long process.
Yeah, I think I knew that. I think I heard that.
I really believe that we are deluded about how many rich people we have in this country. And one final note on that is, one of the things that have sustained markets like this and sustained California and Florida has been foreign ownership, foreign buying. That has decreased significantly, was down 27% last year.
Damn.
And what you're now seeing are, as we see this globally synchronized recession, that's really what we're about to see, is that those foreigners are selling. And so if we don't have that to also prop up the housing market, and I think that's something people don't realize either, then what is going to sustain this, and who will be buying these properties? And guys, we just
Look,
don't
as
have
a regular
good
normie
news.
such as myself, I think that's a good thing.
One of the worst
I think that
hit
houses
areas in
are
all of Pacific
way
Palisades
overpriced right now.
I'm walking
Like, the
down
average
that
house
street. I
in
can't
America is
go
like
very
approaching
far down because there is a
$500,000.
lot
It's
of
absolutely
security
insane. Nobody
and
can
just
afford
workers
that.
overall, and I
At
don't
least
want to
not
mess
like
with them. But I'm gonna
80% of
pan
the
around
freaking
here just a
population,
little
if
bit
not
so you
more
guys
than
can,
that.
again, understand the severity and the gross negligence that had to have been involved to allow this to happen. And I understand
Oh,
the
yeah.
wind, so let me show you real quick.
It's
Every one
absolutely
of those
unforgivable.
houses completely burned down. Look at this.
The water wasn't working, the pipes weren't working, the fire hydrants weren't working.
And this
That
street wraps
reservoir up
all
on
the
top
way
of that
around
mountain
there.
was completely
Obviously,
empty.
take a look here. Look at this. You have two vehicles right
I
next
mean,
to each
they've
other right
mismanaged
here.
the hell out of this state.
I mean, this is
an absolute disaster.
Insane. What I'm hoping happens is these communities, whether HOA, whether they're rich, whether they're poor, whatever it is, that they start installing proper systems to put fire
As close
out.
as they are to the ocean, I doubt they're going to be that poor.
Proper training, a requirement to inspect the hydrants. Why aren't they inspecting the hydrants? We need more due diligence, and hopefully that's what
Because
we
they're
get
idiots.
with all of this absolute catastrophe. And like what Melody was saying, how long is this going to take to really rebuild? This is going to take so much.
The whole
not only
thing?
do they have to rebuild,
Well,
they
probably
have to
over a
clear
decade.
this and all the toxicity. And this is going to take millions of dollars. Literally, I'm
Uh,
probably
billions,
standing
dude, with a
around
B.
hundreds of millions of
Billions.
dollars just in this little area here in damage alone. All right, guys, I need to show you real quick before I get in trouble. There's a mobile home park right across the beach right here. This entire thing is a mobile home park completely scorched. You can see that goes all the way up these hills. So there is
They had a
basically
mobile home
no
park right on the
mercies.
highway?
There's no mercy for anything. That entire mobile home park is gone. I have no idea
Yep.
how much was insured, how much was not insured. But the fact of the matter is, you guys, this place is just absolutely devastated everywhere you turn. But it's also being just patrolled. I mean, there's got to be
Dude, the ocean's
15
right there.
cops
I'm
here
sure
and the
they had
National
insurance.
Guard. So this is
There's
just
no way
like,
living in a mobile
it's a
home
little bit
with that
intimidating
view
being around here, to be honest with you. But I'm going to get to the next thing. Let me show you guys one more time. this
Any
mobile home
small
park.
amount of money.
Absolutely destroyed. And all up there destroyed. I mean, this whole area is just an ashtray right now. But I'm
I
gonna
mean,
move
you'd
up
think
here
a
and
mobile
try
home
not to
park
get
would be
arrested or
pretty
kicked out. There's
quick
literally
to
security guard
replace.
both sides of the street watching
Just
me.
wheel them all
Hey
back
guys,
in.
we
Just
wanted to
buy a
bring
new
you
one
to
and wheel it
Newport
in.
Beach. We've heard a lot about excitement over where the fire refugees will go to buy additional properties or lease them. And what I heard from a lot of folks is they thought they would come here to Newport Beach. We're standing in front of a home
Newport
that was
Beach.
last listed in 2011 at 1.2 million. Today
Okay.
it's listed for over 3.8 million. This has been on the market for 3 days. So this is a property that we will continue to watch to see if in fact you're going to have those bidding wars. People are going to come and snap up properties. That's what we want to understand. But guys, some facts about Newport Beach. Sales were actually up year over year 5%, but guess what? Prices were down almost 7%. What does that mean? That's motivated selling. So again, this will be the perfect location to truly understand if we're going to get all that excitement over the refugees from Los Angeles. But what I can tell you is that we were driving in here,
Yeah.
guys. I have personally never seen the 405 that empty. I mean,
Yeah,
never.
it's
And
because
we
people are
also
probably just
came
leaving
in
the state.
and stopped at the mall, and the
I think they are.
very large 3-lane roads going in and out of here. And
I bet a lot of people were probably like that. Yeah, I just lost the house and I haven't been happy in this state for like at least 10 years. This place is going all to hell. Taxes are insane. They're mismanaging literally everything at this point. But anyway, I'll just leave it there. Looks like they tour other parts of the city and they kind of give the skinny as to what's going on there real estate wise. But yeah, you can give them a check them out. Real Estate Mindset. I'll put it in the description, just like all the other video links. I'll put all that down there if you want to check it out. So I came across this article. This came from the Daily Mail. And affluent California enclave resembles the apocalypse, but buyers are flocking to spend millions on charred plots. So it sounds like that the homeowners who had their houses destroyed, it sounds like that their lots are being put up for sale. And I wouldn't be surprised if a good portion of them are just saying to hell with the state altogether. I mean, for some, it's probably easier said than done, especially people who have family, people who they were born and raised there. It's not so easy just to leave the state that were born and raised in. Plus, you probably just have ties with your job, or if you have kids, with them being in school. I mean, it's not that easy to leave a state. I mean, it's not just let's just pack up the U-Haul and just head wherever else. But anyway, let's see here. So when wildfires tore through Pacific Palisades last year, they transformed one of LA's most exclusive neighborhoods into a charred community resembling an apocalypse. But the ash, rubble, and scorched lots has not put off buyers who are now racing to pick up a plot in the luxury enclave and paying as much as $5 million a lot. See, one such lot sold for $2.65 million. That's just the lot. And let's see, McNicholas estimates it would have gone for up to $3.5 million. It's already one of the most desirable communities to live in before the fire happened. Numbers back on my 8209 square foot plot. Another example, recently sold for $4.25 million. Another lot sold for $4 million. And there's a image probably soon after the, let's see, 15103 Albright Street after the fires and before the debris was cleared. And we've got a house here on Albright Street before the fires. And let's see, buyers are still shelling out up to $5 million for burned lots in the enclave. So this says California Wildfires Response Debris Removal Support. And it's got the address, complete. I don't know what it means by complete because, I mean, completely destroyed maybe. Anyway, let's see. Rather than waiting for a buyer to take on an empty lot, some developers have moved quickly, laying foundations and marketing high-end renderings of future dream homes. Luxury builder J&Y Investments, for instance, is promoting plans for an 8,200 square foot modern estate at one of the burn lots, listed for $8.25 million. Let's see, from new schools to roads, updated utilities, and fire-resistant construction. The neighborhood is being reborn in fast. I don't know about fast. I don't know if anything's been rebuilt yet. I mean, not from what we've seen so far. The Army Corps of Engineers led the massive debris cleaning effort, removing thousands of destroyed structures at no cost to uninsured homeowners. Well, what about the insured ones? Do they have to pay? Let's see, house that stood here, another house. People always wanted to live in the Palisades, but it was not always accessible price point to them. Now, because of what's happened, they can afford to buy a lot and build a house there. For what, $3 million just for the lot? I don't know how affordable that really is, but okay. And there's an aerial view. Yeah, let's see. Price is enough buyers. Pacific ignited on January 7th. Scorched approximately 23,448 acres across the Palisades. The fire claimed 12 lives, unfortunately, and forced the evacuation of more than 100,000 residents. I mean, it's a city. It's a small city. Preliminary economic assessments estimate the fire caused over $25 billion in damages, making it the third most destructive wildfire in California's history. That was only the third. I'm surprised that wasn't the most destructive. Well, you know, taking out over 6,000 buildings. That's absolutely crazy, man. So, yeah, that's on Daily Mail. Let's go over here to, I thought this was interesting. This is the Pacific Palisades Chamber of Commerce, and there's not really anything to be said about their progress or anything. You'd think this would be the place for locals to go to check out like what's going on as far as the fires, the cleanup efforts, where to go to like get certain permits or to get assistance or anything like that. But I mean, yeah, not really. They've got an event calendar, but I'm sure there's probably not much on there as far as this goes. It's probably just, let's see, the Midry Community Recovery Session. I mean, that might have something to do with it. Thanks some breakfast. Yeah, they've got like brunches and shit. Composer's breakfast. Topanga Farmers Market. I mean, yeah, it's as if it never happened. It's just kind of weird that on this website that they wouldn't really have anything, or at least not have like a section on their menu with regard to that. I just found that to be kind of interesting. So this one came out of the LA Times. Actually, I don't know if they'll even let me read this or not. Yeah, I think they might. I thought they hid this behind a paywall. Let's see. I'll try this. Sometimes it might kick me out. Yeah, let's see. I don't even know. Well, I'll start and see what happens. But anyway, this is in the LA Times. Funding for LA's emergency management unit, vital to Palisades recovery, but it remains static. Myriad calamities could hit the city of LA in the coming years: wildfires, floods, mudslides, drought, and of course the big one, the earthquake. Yet this month, LA leaders once again balked at dramatically increasing the budget of the city's emergency management department, even as the office coordinates recovery from the Palisades fire and is tasked with helping prepare for a variety of disasters and high-profile events such as the 2028 Summer Olympics. And I forgot that was happening there. So facing a nearly $1 billion budget shortfall, the LA City Council voted 12-3 last week to pass a budget that rejected the funding increases requested by EMD leaders to hire more staffers and fix broken security equipment around its facility. Dude, California's flat freaking broke, dude. They're broke. They have no money. They're out of money. And I don't even know if they're even going to be able to get away with raising taxes more. I can only imagine that. I mean, like what? Just a basic speeding ticket, isn't it like $400 or something now? I know my sister, she lived out in LA for a while, and she parked on an incline, and she didn't turn her wheel to the curb, but she had it parked okay and everything. But apparently, she was parked on some grade. It was like 5% grade or something. Anyway, she was hit with like a $350 ticket just because she didn't turn her freaking steering wheel. Like freaking crazy. But anyway, let's see here. The only budgetary increase for EMD will come through bureaucratic restructuring. The department will absorb the 5-person climate emergency mobilization office, which Mayor Karen Bass had slated for elimination in her initial proposal to trim the budget deficit. The funding allotment for EMD, with an operating budget of about $4.5 million, puts the department short of similar big cities in California and beyond. As a 2022 audit by then City Controller Ron Galperin noted, San Diego, Long Beach and San Francisco all spent more per capita on emergency management than LA, which then spent $1.56 per resident, whereas LA has a staff of roughly 30. New York, with more than double the population of LA, has 200 people in its emergency management team, and Philadelphia, with a population less than half of LA, has 53. I mean, yeah, no wonder this thing broke out. They're all incompetent. The current leaders of EMD, General Manager Carol Parks and Assistant General Manager Jim Featherstone, had specifically requested funding this spring to build an in-house recovery team to better equip the city for the Palisades recovery as well as future disasters. Well, it's a little too late. I mean, yeah, you would think with rampant wildfires happening all the time, they already live in a desert, so they're already at high risk as it is. Plus, they're sitting right dead on the San Andreas fault line. I mean, like, you've got earthquakes, you have a potential tsunami situation, I guess, and wildfires and, whatever else you could throw at them. They mentioned mudslides. I guess that's potentially possible, I suppose. I mean, you think that they would have hundreds and hundreds of people staffed for this agency. You'd think that it would have always been the case, but nope. I mean, what if the big one happened? What if tomorrow they get nailed by like an 8.2 earthquake or something? I mean, you'd think they'd be prepared for that. Or like the movie Volcano, the one with Tommy Lee Jones that came out in like, what was that, 97? Who knows? Like a big earthquake could happen and this giant volcano could just rupture out of the ground and I don't know, whatever. But anyway, we are one of the most populous and at-risk jurisdictions in the nation, if not in the world, Featherstone told the City Council Budget Committee on April 30th. I won't say negligent, but I will. But it's really not in the city's best interest to not have a recovery capability for a disaster similar to the one we just experienced. Zach Seidel, a spokesperson for Bass. Why can't she speak for herself? Oh yeah, that's right. She can't speak. She can't speak in front of the press at least. At least not that first time she was approached by the media as the fires were breaking out, and she went to some ridiculous wedding in like Africa or something, and some member of the press just approached her in the airport and she wouldn't say a freaking word, man. Because these people they're corrupt, they're incompetent, they're morons. They're absolutely just idiotic, just across the board. The current leaders of EMD, General Manager Carol Parks and Assistant Manager Jim Featherstone, has specifically requested funding this spring to build an in-house recovery team. I think I already read that, didn't I? We're one of the most, I already read all that. Let's see here. During a difficult budget year, Mayor Bass focused on emergency management to keep Angelenos safe. That absolutely includes ensuring EMD has continued staffing and resources. We will continue to push forward with one of the fastest recovery efforts in state history. I will believe it when I see it. But I have a feeling 10 years from now, it's not all going to be rebuilt. Unless we're going to see apartment complex after apartment complex. Let's see. Councilmember Tracy Park, who represents the Palisades, was among the trio on the city council who opposed the budget that passed last week, citing insufficient funding for public safety as one of her main objectives. Yeah. Let's see. It's inevitable. We are going to have another disaster, and we won't be prepared. We'll be in the same position we were before. Let's see. Horrible taste. I'm just skipping down a little bit. I don't want to read the entire thing, take up too much time. I was just looking just to see if there's any big updates or anything. When Bass unveiled her budget proposal, those 10 additional positions were not included. EMD remained at roughly 30 positions, similar to previous years, which cost around $7.5 million when pensions, healthcare, and other expenses are included. Her budget proposal touted that she was able to preserve all of EMD's positions while other departments face steep staff and funding cuts. Well, it's going to look kind of bad on you as the mayor if the Pacific Palisades fire broke out in 2025, which it did, and we're not even halfway through the year yet, and you're going to make cuts to the emergency response departments. It's almost like you can't make this up. So, yeah, I'm sure it would be a political disaster if she were to make cuts, and that's why she didn't. But if the fire thing didn't break out, I'm sure they would be making cuts. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So, let's see. LA officials have long been warned that EMD lacks resources. The 2022 audit by Galperin, the former city controller, found that LA provided less emergency management funding than peer cities, and that the COVID-19 pandemic strained EMD resources and staffing, causing several existing preparedness programs to lag behind, likely impacting the city's readiness for future emergencies. I mean, that wasn't even a natural thing. That was all man-made. Lack of training and funding became apparent. Yeah, I'm sure that's very apparent at a budget hearing in April 2024. Let's see, with your current budget, are you able to staff your emergency response centers 24/7 during emergencies? The answer is no. If there are multiple days that the emergency operations center needs to be activated, we do not have enough staff. Oh, that's lovely. So what are you going to do? Just, I don't know. During the Palisades fire, EMD said it had to bring in additional emergency management officials from other cities to sustain the emergency operations center around the clock. Well, there you go. That's exactly what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to yank resources from other areas of the state, if not in the country. Lowe said LA leaders had failed to recognize EMD's role within the broader public safety infrastructure of the city. I'm not sure at a political level that the city understands and appreciates emergency management and the purpose of the department, and that trickles down to the budget and the size of the department. So, yeah, this was written by Matt Hamilton on the LA Times, and that's basically all I got. There's just not a whole lot. I mean, it doesn't really sound like that a whole heck of a lot of progress has really happened, at least not in the last probably few weeks, but they did open up the highway. They are clearing the lots out. They do have checkpoints all over the Palisades. And I mean, that's kind of, I guess, the latest. Oh, they did open 2 schools. Those are opening back up. And the that plaza, whatever it was, they're talking about that's opening up next year, that they're working to open that. But I mean, if I'm a local who's living there, I'd be kind of pissed about that being their big headline news. I'd be like, dude, what about people's homes? I mean, I wouldn't really be concerned with shopping until all the homes are built. Once everything's all built, then we can talk about entertainment and shopping and all that nonsense. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it looks like Palisade survivors. So it looks like there's still, a few people here and there that are talking about it. These posts were just in the last couple of minutes. I was just curious just to see, if there's, consistent conversations being had about the Palisades. Geofencing, the Palisades fires, fireworks, and graffiti tagging. Do arsons phone home? Let's see here. Drove all the way to PCH and then up to Topanga Canyon today for the first time since the Palisades fire. Both reopened last week. PCH is top speed, 25 miles an hour, and absolute carnage. Topanga hillsides are lush green from grasses growing after a burn. Surreal. Interesting. So yeah, that dude took a drive and found out what we just saw on one of those video clips about the speed limit being all the way down to 25 miles an hour. I don't understand why they had those other lanes closed. That didn't make much sense to me. Let's see here. Let me spell this out. Palisades doesn't have a protected bike lane. State law allows bikers to take a whole lane for safety. Oh, that doesn't really pertain to any of this. Palisades Village to reopen in 2026 after wildfire-related closure. So there's a lot of that. Isn't that funny how all these news outlets, they just copy-paste each other's shit? I think that's just hilarious. And look at this. They all came out at the exact same time. Maybe unless like there's one umbrella news company that owns all of these. I guess that maybe that's possible. Orange County Register, LB Press Telegram, Whittier Daily News, Daily Breeze, LA Daily News, Daily Bulletin, Pasadena Star News, San Gabriel Valley Tribune. They all came out the same exact article at the exact same time, like 56, 57 minutes ago. I don't know. I think that's pretty hilarious, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, now I'm getting back into where I was earlier, but yeah, that's about all I got. I just figured I'd look into the Pacific Palisades because it's kind of radio silent as far as the news is concerned, but I mean, I'm sure if there's anything major that develops, I'm sure, maybe it might be said in the national news, but who knows? I mean, I'm sure that they're probably just trying to make it go away. They don't want to talk about it. It makes them look bad. It was filled with incompetence. I cannot believe the mayor is still there. Absolutely cannot believe that. I mean, talk about somebody who's power hungry and doesn't give a shit. But anyway, that's all I got. See you later.